Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Therapy. So today's Friday, December 16th, and I went to drag in my last VGT and I just didn't like it. I was thinking back on it, I don't really edit these, but I was thinking back, I didn't really like it. Yeah, and I guess the third thing that's been on my mind, this was last night I came up with this quote. I've been thinking a lot about control lately, and if you've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, then wait, hold on, what's the time we're at? 8. Okay, interesting. This might be a short one. We'll just go over a few different things, but if you ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, I just slurred my way through that, sorry. Avatar: The Last Airbender. When anglers have firebend, there's this whole notion of control. And firebending is difficult because it's so easy to lose control. And I mean, that's kind of true in general, of fire, that is. But I also think that's true just in the broad sphere of things. If you let something go completely out of control, then you lose control of it, obviously, Mark. Thank you very much. But anyway, the quote I thought up was, "The opposite of control is to wreak havoc, and a happy medium is organized chaos, or controlled chaos, whichever you prefer." And you can probably get this 5 balloon thing if it wins you in like 1 balloon here. Oh, that sucks. Okay. And you know, I guess firebending is the best visual I have at the moment, but I don't know, let's just take it out of the realm of fiction and say you start a forest fire. And creating backfires is a common tactic. You know, you burn trees so that when the fire that's out of control eventually reaches those trees, the fire has nothing to burn, and so it stops, right? It doesn't just keep going. That's probably the best example I can think of organized chaos, because you're controlling the fire, you're organizing it, but you're still causing chaos, right? You're working within the bounds of something that's out of control. Oh my god, this loop-de-loop thing is so annoying. Okay, thank you. Is there another balloon over here? Honestly, kind of lost my train of thought, but pretty much, I don't know. Control is something I think people are afraid of in many senses. Something has too much control over your life, you're locked in, you're chained down a little bit. But if you lose control over things, whoops, you're screwed. But if you stick within the realm of controlling things too much, it's the classic, you know, plans are useless, but planning is essential, but plans are useless, right? Oh, I might go into focus mode for a second here, because that was 2 balloons right there. Really, bro? At least it's a mad combination. Control things too much and you might not grow. Oh my god, I hate it. You know, if you always practice your firebending in a closed area, or if you always stay within your comfort zone where you have control, oh, I like where my thinking's going. Stay tuned here. Hang on. If you always keep yourself within the same confines, which one might define as a comfort zone, then you may not grow. You may not learn more. You may not, I don't know, improve. On the contrary, if you totally lose control, if you have absolutely no boundaries set, well, that might be a problem. Just 5 balloon bounce. Oh, god dang it. Bro. If you have no boundaries set and you lose control, you might spiral and lose yourself. Let's put it that way. So for me, an example might be dieting and such. without control, I am terrible at moderating food, right? Today, I'm just not eating. I had my smoothie for breakfast and I hit the fast button on my Zero app because I think, I don't know, sometimes just letting whatever's in your system run its course, whatever. I'm not a nutritionist. Don't take my word for anything. Come on. Brother. But, you know, I can control within keto very well. I'm really good at sticking to keto. I don't really know what it is about it, but yeah. And lately I've been sort of breaking that bound, if you will. Just like I'm about to break this bouncing achievement. That was a really good wordplay, Mark. Oh, come on. Give me these balloons here. Where are they, bro? Just wanted balloons. Man struggles to bounce on balloons. Loses control of self while discussing control. Anyway. I don't know. So I've been, you know, I'll have a smoothie this morning. I put in a banana and frozen mango and yogurt. And that's the only non-keto thing I'll have in a day. My lunch is still a good old avocado. You know, my dinner is still very protein based. I don't know. I don't, you know, I stay away from, God dang it, pasta and pizza and, you know, just bread in general, which is a terrible, sad thing to do. Life without bread is, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a sad, sad life. And life without getting balloon bounces because the freaking wingsuit keeps tripping me up is also a sad, sad life. Please, please, please. Wait, that's only one. Oh, I could have had it too. Oh, brutal. Yes. Sorry, I'm getting so off topic. Life without bread is a sad life. Yes, we were discussing that notion. Oh, you can't go backwards in this game. That's what's throwing me off. And so, you know, it's kind of a rule that I make for myself. What I'm trying to get to here is rules, having these confines of us losing control a little bit. We stretch the realm of what we have control over. And so it's a very simple rule to say, okay, no, you know, I'll have mixed nuts if don't feel like making anything, or I'll go and make Parmesan chicken keto, which is actually really good. But it's a very important it's a very important thing to have these rules so that we don't lose control. And, you know, without control, we wreak havoc. And I think that's the opposite of control. And I think havoc, which is literally total destruction, when I looked up the definition this morning. Come on, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. No! Frick, dude! Is, you know, the opposite of maintaining control, which is, I don't know, a very difficult thing to do, I think. You know, especially if there are people who have control problems. So if you maintain too tight control, I don't know, bad things happen. But if you let something just wreak havoc, that also leads to bad things. And I think in that little zone of organized chaos, like, oh my God, you know, maybe my diet is affecting my mood lately. I don't know, something like that. Then, you know, you can tweak your one step outside your little area of perfect control, right? You know, by just fasting for a day, because why not? Let's be real. I freaking hate this game, dude. I'm kidding, I love this game. But yeah, you know, the opposite of control is total havoc, and you gotta find a happy medium where you can live life in the zone of organized chaos. I think that's just a good thing to keep in mind. Honestly, I might cut out the first 8 minutes of this VGT. Excuse me. I don't know if that got picked up, but that's awkward if it did. I'm so sorry. I think my stomach is now empty and resorting to things that aren't there. In my stomach, that is. I feel like there's something untapped here that I could say more about. I don't want to keep lingering and rambling too much, though. That's what the podcast is for. Fractured Thinking, coming out in a week. Trademark? TM? Maybe? We'll see. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another example where I could maybe introduce a little bit of organized chaos in my life. Because I think rules are a good way to do it. I'll be honest. You know, with caffeine, maybe that's another good example. I'm all about choose your vices, and that is a vice I have chosen, and I have chosen not to involve in many other vices. Caffeine is, I don't know. I don't really advocate for it. I'm not going to talk about caffeine all that much. The point is, I did this thing where I can only have caffeine when I read. And I'm kind of starting to do that again. Because then I just started reading books, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually reading. And my reading habit's all right now. Because my caffeine habit was out of control. And that, you know, it brought reading into this area where I had control over when I read, not at a specific time, but just with when I, you know, in the afternoon when I drank caffeine, because caffeine was, you know, between 10 and 4 only. Otherwise it'll keep me up, and I don't want to create a dependence on it. I've removed that 10 a.m. boundary though, because I don't know, I was watching a Huberman Lab podcast, and apparently there's benefit to caffeine exposure after 90 minutes of waking up. But the sense of control, you know, in terms of caffeine, something that could easily go out of control, was brought, you know, I put the reins on or whatever, and brought it within these rules of what I could have it at a time frame. But then for reading, you know, without any boundaries, I might just not read or procrastinate until the end, until the night, and then I would lose it. I guess you can't really wreak havoc there. It's not like I would start reading for 24 hours a day and whatever. But if I had controlled reading to only a specific time point in the day, I don't know, maybe it might not have worked. That's what I'm doing with language learning, is I've isolated very specific times in my day. In the noon I do Portuguese, in the evening I do Japanese, 30 minutes and an hour respectively, just while I work in the habit. I'm going to London in a bit, so oops, goodbye habits. But anyway, point is, I think you should not control things too strictly, because there's no flexibility, right? And I don't know. I mean, that's it. If you also wreak total havoc on things, then, you know, maybe you become tunnel visioned. Some things you lose sight of things. I mean, when I got my job, one of the things I said in an interview is my biggest strength is tunnel vision. My biggest weakness is also tunnel vision. That felt very poetic when I said it, and I guess they agreed. But yeah, I don't know. I think control is something maybe I struggle with a bit. I don't know. Because I want to live like a robot. Sometimes I'm like, I'm human. Gotta take breaks. Gosh darn. But sometimes you also have to take breaks from taking breaks. You know? That make any sense? I feel like that's a whole other topic. I'm getting way off topic here, but the topic of control, I think, is a fascinating one, and one that is due for more thinking. As we know, I'm an overthinker. So, yeah. Thanks for watching and or listening. Hope you are having a wonderful Saturday. I will do my absolute best to make a VGT next weekend for my 3 viewers. I'm pretty sure all 3 of you I actually talked to. And yeah, I mean, I should just make the podcast that. Just anyone who watches an episode of VGT, and then I just talk about the topic with them for like an hour. Therefore, it's not a solo podcast, and I don't have to rely on a co-host because I have past issues with teammates. Instant solution. Oh yeah, I don't know. I like to sometimes pretend that there's a following here, so I'll do my best to release one next weekend. Actually, I should be able to release one next weekend because I'm not leaving yet. But if I don't know. Happy end of the year. Maybe we'll talk about resolutions again. Maybe I'll go back to my future self video from last year and reiterate over it. But hey, VGT 85, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and I'm somehow doing it weekly for a few weeks now. So maybe we'll hit 100 next year. That would be crazy. Or would it? Anyway, I'm done talking. Have a good one, and as always, don't forget to stay awesome. See you next week.